27-year-old Ryan Ashcraft is heading up in his chopper for one last ride before it gets too dark. 200 feet in the air, maneuvering skillfully between phone lines and farmland. This is a helicopter hog hunt. And the goal today? Kill as many pigs as possible. This evening's run isn't meant to be for fun. It's personal, and the problem these pigs pose is more urgent than ever.
When you're going in a helicopter 3 to 4 times a week and killing an average of 20 to 30 pigs every time you go, and the crop still gets completely destroyed, that's a problem.
Over the past 5 years, Ashcraft has been on the front lines of one of the biggest battles on America's farmlands, feral hogs.
This is a serious deal. Down here in Matagorda County, I would say that this is probably the worst hog damage as far as crops go in a big region of Texas coast.
At first glance, they may look like piglets.
My little sister looks at that little pig and says, that's a cutie.
And if she wanted to pet him, he would definitely do some damage to her hand, that's for sure.
But they're aggressive as heck, make a mess wherever they go. And worst of all, their population is growing exponentially.
We are definitely in the hot seat for pig numbers and populations and damage here.
We see it in almost every field and every farm.
Over the last 3 decades, the population of feral pigs has exploded to as many as 9 million across the United States, expanding from about 17 states to at least 35.
We said that you either have pigs or you will have pigs. You're either going to be directly affected or indirectly affected.
They're everywhere. From viral tweets to trophy hogs so big, they don't look real. It's clear these guys aren't your regular farm pigs. Responsible for over $1.5 billion in damage to agriculture, natural resources, and property a year. Now it's all hands on deck, and a whole industry of dealing with these pigs has since emerged, from companies like Ashcraft's hosting hunts for tourists and bachelor parties, to a booming market for trapping systems.
This is something that is impacting every American, whether it be directly at the farm level or indirectly as a consumer.
We headed to Bay City, Texas, the epicenter of America's pig problems.
Yeah, this is just one out of, 100 spots within this field.
To find out the extent of the damage these hogs cause and how ranchers and farmers are looking to stop them. Richard Byer knows this Bay City soil well. He's been growing crops here for over 20 years.
My dad grew predominantly rice, and so I grew up on a rice farm.
Wild hogs have always been a battle for Byer's family. But over the last few years, the damage has gotten out of control.
How destructive are they? What are they capable of?
They're very destructive. If I looked at it on average, I could lose up to 10% of my grain crops in a growing season from the wild hogs. They don't just do an acre, they can do acres in a night.
He took us out to see the mess they make firsthand.
This is all hog damage? That's all hog damage.
Wow.
Every bit of it.
So what do we got here?
You can see here where the pigs have rooted up in the middle of the field, and you can tell how there's a few soybean stalks left from the crop that we had. You can see a few scattered bean stalks in there, but they rooted them up.
The problem has gotten so bad, the pigs now determine what crops Byer harvests.
We kind of have an idea of where the hog populations are worse or where we've seen the most damage in our crops from years previous, so that could determine whether or not we plant a grain crop or we plant a cotton crop.
For farmers like Byer, the wild pigs are hurting their wallets. He says he can lose close to $100,000 in revenue from his yields a year, not to mention the money spent trying to stave off the hogs. The feral swine conundrum is nothing new. They've been in the U.S. since the 1500s, when pigs were brought over as a food source.
What makes a feral pig an invasive species?
It's not from the United States. It was brought over some 500 years ago as a livestock species, and as they progressed across the United States, some of them were just trickled out and left along the way as they moved around the country, and now we have an unchecked population that's out there on the landscape to breed and to do what they do.
Dr. Aaron Summerall says poor hog management on private property, crossbreeding between subspecies, and reproductive cycles quicker than most mammals are just some of the reasons feral pig numbers spiral.
What we need to think about is at that time that female reaches her first birthday, quite likely she's already put the first litter on the ground. So you think one female as a litter size of 6, at her first birthday, she's already recruited 3 little females to that population. At their first birthday, they're going to be recruiting more to theirs.
Quite literally exponential growth.
It's an exponential growth, and it's like a firestorm.
Areas where feral pigs are present have a brutal impact on the environment. According to the USDA, wild pigs have been linked to the decline of nearly 300 native plants and animals in the U.S. Over 250 of those are threatened or endangered.
We are losing a lot of our indigenous or native species with regard to ground nesting birds that are native, like turkey and quail. Pigs are not an active predator and see a deer out there like a coyote and chase it down, but if there's deer fawns there in the spring of the year and they happen upon them, they're going to be on the menu as well.
Historically, trapping these pigs isn't just expensive, it can also be inefficient. Now Sumrall, a lifetime researcher, has joined the industry, working to educate farmers about a new trap that he says is a game changer. This trap Sumrall set up, along with a few others on this 32,000-acre ranch, hauled in over 50 pigs overnight. Now his team is working to get as many as they can transferred to holding facilities, where they'll be sent for processing and wind up on meat markets overseas. But with a decrease in value due to low demand, most of the pigs will end up being euthanized.
There is no reason we cannot manage that population much like what we would do with our domestic livestock populations. We're not attempting to do something that's not already being done in other populations across the country and across the world.
Even up in the sky, the ethics of hog hunting is something Ashcraft grapples with, but says it's a necessary evil.
Who's complaining about setting a rat trap or calling an exterminator? There's roaches in your house, kill them. There's no way around it. I know it sucks to, no one wants to kill anything. I've always told people, if you think that there's a better way and a more humane way you can come down here and remove these hogs, be my guest.
Whether you agree or not, the United States government has bought into the problem. Congress invested almost $75 million in the feral swine eradication program as part of the 2018 Farm Bill, effectively encouraging population control.
It's going to help the lifestyle of the farmers and the ranchers, but also, too, through management efforts, we lessen the possibilities of diseases and disease issues by dropping that population.
It's easy to feel that this issue is isolated, relegated to America's rural areas where they can't affect everyday life. But Sumrall says that's not the case.
The animals are not solely a rural concern anymore, just because of the way that people are sprawling out across the landscape now, and then the way that those animals have to find new area to occupy because of their own population explosion.
It's almost like if you didn't think it was an urban problem, sooner or later it's going to be.
It's an urban problem. You have two types of people out there, those that do have wild pigs and those that will have.
It's an uphill battle for farmers nationwide. The growth of this population has created a complicated relationship with the hogs for someone like Ashcraft. While he wants to see them gone, those hunts keep his business afloat.
You recognize it needing to go, but at the same time, you'll take the check.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just have to find me a different business. I'd have to gear a business a different way. People just need to learn about it a little bit more. They need to look a little bit more in depth about it.
Good headshot here.
We're saving money in our area, we're bringing money to our area, and we're solving a problem all at one time.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.